about that number 2 overall pick. You mentioned earlier that you would potentially look to draft Zach Wilson with the number 2 overall pick because you think that you like Darnold, you think he can succeed somewhere else, but you think it's time to move on. So with the number 2 overall pick, who do you think right now today should be the guy that just drafted? What quarterback do you want?
I think I mentioned earlier, Zach Wilson is almost a perfect fit for that offense. I think he'd be a lot of fun to watch there. Throwing to Denzel Mims. We have the 23rd pick too, so maybe we take a wide receiver there. Because Devontae Smith could fall. They're saying Jalen Waddle and Jamar Chase are possibly rated higher than him. I don't know if he falls to 23, but hey, you never know how the board's going to fall. I think we go quarterback. The only way we don't go quarterback is if the Jets do retain and keep Sam Darnold and decide they want to try building around him again. And then at that point, you're considering Sewell or Smith, or I wouldn't take Sewell. We have Mekhi Becton at the left tackle, and Sewell is more of a left tackle than a right tackle. But also George Fant, we signed him in the offseason, and he was a solid right tackle. And I think he'll do better in this zone running scheme that they're going to run. And I wouldn't really take a tackle when you could attack or address other positions as well. I don't really see tackle as being a top need this year, which is odd for me to say because like the last couple of years, you give me any offensive lineman, I'll take it. But I think we go quarterback at 2, and it's probably going to be Zach Wilson unless something comes out like character issues or anything like that, or Justin Fields. Trey Lance, there's a little bit more questions on like how high, like obviously he's got a high ceiling, kind of like Josh Allen coming out. I was not high on Allen because I saw that was a year I was watching a lot of college quarterbacks because Jets were picking up 3, traded up to 3. But I watched a lot of Josh Allen. I'm like, I just didn't come away impressed. He had a rocket arm, but he was just not accurate. He had a low floor, but a high ceiling, clearly. Trey Lance is kind of in that same boat. Small school. I don't really know how low or high his floor is. So he'll probably he's not going to make it out of the top 10. He's going to be drafted somewhere in the top 10. 2 might be a little early, but we're also early in the process too. But right today, I'd take Zach Wilson.
Got it. Personally, for me, I'm not torn on who I would take, but the decision for me would come down to Justin Fields or Trey Lance. I understand that Zach Wilson is probably a little more pro-ready than a guy like Justin Fields or a guy like Trey Lance, but I just look at their physical tools, and I think their ceiling is actually higher than Zach Wilson. You look at Justin Fields, I mean, the guy is 6'3", got a big-time rocket arm, can throw the deep ball pretty well. I mean, we saw what he did versus Clemson in the semifinal game. That was an unbelievable performance, and he obviously didn't, do all that great versus Alabama. But, I mean, if you can't beat Alabama, I'm not going to hold that against you too much. So, personally, I think that Justin Fields has a higher ceiling than Zach Wilson. Not saying Zach Wilson's a bad prospect, but I just think that when you're drafting number 2 overall, even if the guy is not ready to hit the ground running right away, I just want that off-the-charts potential. And same thing with Trey Lance. I mean, I look at Trey Lance, and people think that might be crazy, but I see a mixture of some Russell Wilson and Cam Newton. He runs like Cam Newton, and his deep ball at times looks like Russell Wilson. Not saying he's going to be close to Russell Wilson or Cam Newton, but I won't be shocked if he becomes, a top 10 to top 5 quarterback one day. The guy is 6'4", about 230, can run around, make plays, fit the ball in the tight windows. His accuracy does need work, but I think that with good coaching, you can fix those things. So for me personally, if I was in the Jet seat, I would look to take someone like Justin Fields or Trey Lance. But I can understand why someone would look at Zach Wilson, but we'll see, man. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.